Lagos. The city of dreams, and the city of nightmares. Where skyscrapers shine above Victoria Island, yet only a few kilometers away, children chase after. Doubtful buses barefoot, their laughter swallowed by the noise of survival. They say Lagos never sleeps. But for some, it doesn't just stay awake, it crashes. She fed her baby from trash bins, while crowds walked by. No one stopped. No one cared. Until one stranger did, and changed everything. This is not a fairy tale. This is Lagos, raw, unforgiving, alive. And within its chaos, a young mother's desperate fight for survival reveals the cruelest truths, and the rarest kindness. Her name is Aisha. She is only 22, but her eyes carry the weight of 50 years. Her skin glows faintly in the orange heat of age-gone sunsets, but the glow is dulled by exhaustion. Her wrapper hangs loose, her slippers worn thin. And on her back, strapped tightly with a faded and corey cloth, is Miriam, her baby girl. Just 9 months old. The baby cries softly, her tiny fist beating against her mother's spine. Not because she is sick. Not because she is tired. But because she is hungry. Always hungry. Aisha once dreamed of becoming a nurse. She once attended lectures at Yaba Tech, writing notes diligently under dim hostel light. But dreams cost money, and Lagos drains faster than it gives. 6 months ago, her husband, Sule, vanished into the Lagos night. He left chasing a deal. He left chasing quick money. He never returned. Some whisper he found another woman. Others whisper he drowned in debt and ran. But to Aisha, one fact remains, he left her. Alone. With a child. With nothing. At first, Aisha tried to survive with dignity. She took in laundry from neighbors, scrubbing clothes in plastic basins until her fingers cracked. She carried loads of dairy on her head for traders at Oyinbo Market. She even begged for work at local shops. But wages came late, or never. And rent collectors came early, every month, banging their fist on her door. When her little Miriam fell sick with fever, Aisha carried her on foot to a chemist in Boundary. The chemist shrugged. "Madam, no money, no medicine." She left, tears stinging her eyes, clutching her child tighter. By the 3rd week, food had run out completely. Neighbors gave excuses. Friends avoided her. And hunger is a monster that does not wait. That night, Aisha made the choice no mother should ever face. She tied her wrapper, walked through dark alleys, past kiosks closing for the day, and toward a pile of garbage behind Bologan Market. The smell of rot and oil hit her nose. Her stomach twisted. But her baby's cry was louder. Hands trembling, Aisha bent down. She dug through nylon bags, banana peels, spoiled meat. And then, she found it. Half a bread roll, covered in dirt. She brushed it clean, tore a piece, chewed it slowly, then placed a softened piece in her baby's mouth. Miriam swallowed. The child stopped crying. She rested her head, drifting into uneasy sleep. Aisha whispered into the darkness, "Forgive me, my daughter, forgive me." Days turned into weeks. And soon, the garbage heap became Aisha's only kitchen. She timed her walks carefully, after the traders closed, before the night gangs arrived. She searched for scraps of rice, half-finished beans, meat bones with shreds left clinging. But Lagos is a city of ice. One day, 2 children spotted her at the heap. They laughed, pointing. "See her. She's feeding from dustbin." Another time, a market woman hissed. "Shame on you. How can you put gutter food into a child's mouth?" Aisha said nothing. She wrapped Miriam tighter, her face burning with humiliation. But inside, she was breaking. The shame was heavy. The fear was heavier. Because one night, she found a piece of rotten meat. She boiled it with borrowed kerosene. Hours later, Miriam vomited violently, her chest rattling as if she could not breathe. Aisha held her child all night, praying, "Ya Allah, don't take her. Don't punish her for my sin." The city kept moving. Doubtfuls roared. Markets shouted. People lived. But in one dark room in Ghana, a mother begged the heavens for her child's life. By now, Aisha's life is measured in scraps. The mornings start with Miriam's thin cries. Afternoons are filled with endless walking past shops, kiosks, and stalls, where the scent of fried plantain and suya touches her empty stomach. Evenings end at the trash heap, the only place that still welcomes her. But Lagos does not forgive weakness. One rainy evening, as thunder rolled over the skyline, Aisha stood at the heap again. Rain plastered her wrapper to her body, lightning revealed her face, young, but hollowed by despair. She picked through soggy nylon bags, searching desperately. 2 teenage boys saw her. They laughed cruelly. "Mama dustbin," one shouted. "Even her pikin they chop from refuse." Aisha froze. The words cut deeper than hunger. She clutched Miriam tighter, hiding the bread roll she had found. She wanted to disappear into the ground. But there was no escape. This was her life now. That same night, as she bent again at the garbage heap, a car pulled over nearby. Its headlights cut through the rain. The sound of a door opening. A voice called out. "Come, firm. Madam, stop." Aisha stiffened. Slowly, she turned. A man stood there, umbrella shielding him from the storm, a suit clinging down to his shoulders. His face was serious, but his eyes were filled with something she hadn't seen in months, concern. His name was David. A banker, returning from work on Victoria Island. He had seen her before, from his car. Always searching. Always carrying a child. Tonight, he couldn't drive past. "Is this how you feed your baby?" he asked gently. Aisha's lips trembled. She wanted to deny it, to walk away. But the truth spilled from her eyes in silent tears. "I have no choice," she whispered. David didn't walk away. Instead, he lowered his umbrella, stepped closer, and said, "Come with me." She hesitated. Fear gripped her. Lagos men did not give without taking. She clutched Miriam tighter. But his voice carried no demand. Only insistence. "At least tonight, let the child eat real food." Minutes later, they were seated at a roadside buka. The warmth of smoky jollof rice filled the air. David ordered pap and bread for Miriam, meat stew for Aisha. At first, she didn't touch it. Her pride burned. But when Miriam's small hands reached forward eagerly, Aisha gave in. She fed her baby real food, warm, fresh, safe. For the first time in weeks, Miriam stopped crying before falling asleep. For the first time in months, Aisha exhaled without fear. And David watched silently, realizing how fragile survival really was in this city. Later that night, sitting under the buka's zinc roof, the rain still pounding, David asked her story. And she told him. Everything. Her husband's betrayal. The debts. The eviction. The whispers. The hunger. The shame. The nights at the garbage heap. Her voice broke as she spoke, but she did not stop. The truth poured out, raw and heavy. David listened without interrupting. And when she finally fell silent, clutching her baby as if Miriam might vanish, David leaned forward. "You will not go back to that trash heap," he said quietly. "Not again. Not while I'm here." In that moment, Aisha's life began to change. True to his word, David did not leave Aisha at the buka that night. He drove her to a small, modest flat he once rented out but left empty after the tenant traveled. "Stay here for now," he said, placing the key in her hand. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "But I don't even know you," she whispered. David smiled faintly. "Then maybe it's time you learn there are still good people in Lagos." The next days were unlike anything Aisha had known in months. Mariam ate properly, pap in the morning, rice in the evening. She slept through the night without crying. Her cheeks, once hollow, began to fill. And Aisha, though still weak from hunger, began to feel something she thought she had lost forever: hope. David's help did not end there. His aunt, Mama Nkechi, owned a tailoring shop in Sorale. She agreed to take Aisha in. The first time Aisha sat behind a sewing machine, her hands trembled. She stitched unevenly, her threads tangled. The other apprentices laughed. "See her, trash woman wants to sew cloth now," they mocked. But Aisha did not quit. She returned each day. Slowly, her hands grew steadier. Her stitches became straight. Within months, she was sewing school uniforms, Ankara blouses, and even wedding gowns. The money was small at first, but it was hers. And with dignity. Mariam grew healthier. Her laughter filled the small flat. And every evening, Aisha whispered into her child's hair, "Never again. You will never taste from dustbin again." But Lagos does not let go easily. One evening, as Aisha closed the shop, she saw him. Sul, her husband. The man who had vanished months ago. His beard was unkempt, his eyes bloodshot. He reeked of alcohol and desperation. "Aisha," he shouted, staggering toward her. She froze, Mariam clutching her wrapper. "I am back. Take me in," he demanded. "I am still your husband. You belong to me." Aisha's chest tightened. The old fear tried to return. But she was no longer that weak, broken woman by the trash heap. "You left us," she said firmly. "And we survived without you. We don't need you anymore." His face twisted with anger. He reached for Mariam. Aisha pulled her child back. The shop owner rushed out, neighbors gathered, and Sul, defeated by shame and rage, stumbled into the night. For the first time, Aisha realized her strength. She had stood her ground. That night, sitting by the window of her little flat, Aisha held Mariam close. The city outside roared as always, horns, shouts, laughter, chaos. But inside, it was quiet. She thought back to the nights by the garbage heap. To the stairs. To the shame. To the hopelessness. And then she thought of David. A man who could have driven past like everyone else. A man who could have judged. But instead, he stopped. He reached out. And because he did, her life had been rewritten. Tears filled her eyes, not of despair this time, but of gratitude. "One act of kindness," she whispered, and everything changed. Today, Aisha is no longer Mama Dustbin. She is a tailor. A provider. A survivor. Mariam laughs freely now, her belly full, her future brighter. And in the heart of Lagos, a truth remains. Sometimes, survival is not found in strength alone, but in the kindness of one stranger who chooses not to look away. And now, I ask you, if you were David that rainy night, would you have stopped? Or would you have driven past, like everyone else? If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because maybe, just maybe, your act of kindness could be the miracle someone is praying for tonight.